footage with both the team's star players out last night with the 123-112 win. 4 of the Bucks' 5 starters had at least 20 points, with Brook Lopez leading the way with 33 as Milwaukee now leads the series 3-2. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us now. But Skip, earlier in the show, you made the case that the Bucks looked like a better basketball team without Giannis last night. So please elaborate.
I said earlier in this show, Mr. Broussard, that I thought last night the Bucks looked like a little better playoff basketball team without a guy, Giannis, whom I've never been a huge fan of. I know Chris is a fan of him. I think you sort of on and off, hot and cold. But I've just never been completely sold on a playoff Giannis who doesn't seem to have that killer will, those trustable intangibles in huge playoff moments, because he has regularly melted down and flamed out in big playoff series. So here we go again. He's hurt now, obviously. Hope he's able to come back. But last night, I was shocked by what I saw. I saw Brook Lopez get to return to the role he played as Brooklyn Brook for 9 years with the Nets, in which he was a low-post force. I'm not saying he's better than Giannis, because he obviously isn't better than a 2-time MVP, a guy who just dominates PER in this league, a guy who will give you 30 and 15 rebounds regularly during the regular season and many times during the playoffs. But last night, Brook Lopez went down low, and he went down to the tune of 14. He made 14 out of 18 shots and scored 33 points, a playoff high, because he dominated inside. He dominated Capella, he dominated John Collins, and he turned back into that guy who in Brooklyn would always give you around 20 points and 9 rebounds. He would always block a couple of shots a game, and even in Milwaukee a year ago, he made second-team all-defense and was second in the league in block shots. So we know what he can do on the defensive end, but last night he was doing the same thing in physicality on the offensive end, because he's about 7 feet 1 inch tall, so he's maybe a couple inches taller than Giannis. And I think he weighs close to, I'm doing an eye test, they list him at 282. He looks close to 300 pounds to me. He is a huge man. So in presence, in overall basketball connection and unity, I saw a different basketball team last night, and I love what Brooks said after the game, and as cliched as this sounds, he said, what's great about tonight is we were all basketball players playing together on offense and defense. We were playing off one another, making plays, making extra passes. It was a lot of fun tonight. Well, I don't think they always have fun with Giannis, because as Shannon keeps bringing up, you dump it into Giannis and you let him wheel and deal and dribble, and maybe he goes left, maybe he goes right, maybe he gets to the foul line, maybe he airballs a free throw, maybe he drifts back out and shoots a 3 and airballs the 3. And my point with those airballs is they take the life out of a basketball team. They take your heart away. They take your trust away in the guy who is supposed to be your alpha, who's not really put together. He doesn't have the makeup of an alpha, a leader, a guy with killer will. So in the end, I think they're just fine with Brook Lopez returning to the role of being Brook Lopez in Brooklyn Brook.
Yeah, but the thing that I was trying to convey to Skip, Chris, is that he and Giannis can't occupy the same space at the same time. They're basically 2 jumbo jets trying to get into the same gate. Jumbo jets, you can't do that. So now that Giannis is away, now I can occupy it, because it's not like Chris Middleton wants to play on the low block. Holiday's not going to be on the low block. But Giannis needs to be on the low block because he doesn't have a 3 and he doesn't shoot the mid-range well. So what is he going to do? He's either going to try to get to the paint, or he's going to back it out and try to go downhill on Clint Capella. So now with Giannis out, Brook Lopez says, hey, this is my spot. I can be here.
Thank you.
But you also saw Brook Lopez saw where the game was heading. So he's like, either I evolve instead of just being a low post player and be able to shoot the 3, or I'm going to become extinct. People are going to be looking at him like he's Andre Drummond. Yep. Andre Drummond is a traditional big man. He grabs rebounds, can play on the low block. Yep. Brook Lopez, like, well, that's not where the game is trending. The game is trending that I need to branch out. Now, I'm not going to say I disagree with you, Skip, but when you look at it, the ball's going to have to move, because they don't have a guy that says, you know what, he's going to get me 30 and 15. I think Budenholzer pencils in every night. Giannis is going to give me somewhere between 28 and 32, somewhere between 10 and 15 rebounds, and somewhere between 3 and 5 assists. That's what I know I'm going to get. Well, that's gone now. So now we got to play team ball because we don't have anybody that we can pencil in. Like you've been saying all along, Chris, True Holiday and Middleton, they're good guys. But I'm not penciling them in for anything because I don't know what I'm going to get on a given night. I might get 30 from Middleton. I might get 10. I might get 25 from Holiday. I might get 11. So I can't pencil anything in. The ball moved. They didn't have anybody that's a black hole that when you give him the ball, there's not a good chance you're going to get it back. So Brook Lopez went back to Brooklyn and says, let me dominate the low block. These little small dudes can't do anything with me. And he punished them. 26 of his 33 came within in the paint. That's the recipe for success. But what did they do, Chris? As soon as they get a big lead, they start jacking up threes again, and here come Atlanta get back into the ball game. I don't know if they're necessarily better without Giannis. I just know they're different without Giannis.
Okay, and Chris, before you go, last quick point. All of a sudden, without Giannis, you freed up a spot in the starting lineup for a guy I've always liked in Bobby Portis, who was the SEC Player of the Year at Arkansas, 22nd overall pick in the first round to the Bulls, 2015. He's had big games in this league. He's had 4 30-plus scoring games, 1 38-point game, because he's 6'10", 250 pounds, and he is also a load. And I liked him in the rotation in the starting lineup, being able to play 36 minutes last night. Go ahead, Chris.
You guys are making some major conclusions off one game. One game. I'm ready to say, no, the Milwaukee Bucks are not better without Giannis. There's no way. There's
I said they're not better. I said they're different.
Not in the regular season, not in the postseason, not in the preseason, not in an exhibition game, AAU, whatever. They're not better without Giannis. There's no way. This was one game. I could go back to a couple nights and look at Atlanta without Trae Young and say, my goodness. They were destroying the Bucks in the first half without Trae. Are they better without him? We see this all the time. How about Phoenix? People are actually saying it. Phoenix goes up 2-0 on the Clippers without Chris Paul. And then they lose 2 of the first 3 with him. Are they better without Chris? The Clippers beat Utah 2 games out of 2 without Kawhi, and we're 2-2 against them with Kawhi. No, they're not better without Kawhi. I mean, look, we all know how inconsistent the Bucks are. I'm not predicting this to happen, but they could come out in Game 6 and lay an egg. And let's not forget,
I'm predicting that.
They were playing against an Atlanta Hawks team that has nothing without Trae Young. On paper, the Bucks did what they should have done to Atlanta. On paper, the Bucks have 3 guys outside of Giannis that made all-star teams. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Brook Lopez. Atlanta doesn't have anybody who has made an all-star team or is likely to make an all-star team on that roster. So you guys are right. They went and played 5-man basketball, which is more effective than building everything around one player. There's no reason they can't do more of that with Giannis. And I think they should. A lot of teams nowadays, when they get a superstar, they want to put either everything on him or most of it on him. Instead of letting him play within a system, yeah, he's going to get his. He's going to be the best player, but other guys are going to be able to eat too. Michael Jordan was in a system. He was the best one, but he was in a system. He didn't dominate the ball, and everything had to go through him. He shot a lot, but he didn't just dominate the ball and do everything. And so I just think the Bucks played more 5-man team basketball. Yes, Brook Lopez was back to himself. But to say, or I think even imply, that they're better without Giannis, no way.
No, Chris, I didn't say that. I say they're different. But let me ask you a question.
You said you're not sure.
No.
You said you're not sure.
No.
I don't know if they're better with Giannis or not.
No. My thing is, do you believe Brook Lopez can play like this with Giannis in the lineup?
When he gets his money, he had only been playing 20-something minutes a game anyway. So they can play both of them. You know, they can stagger them a little bit more.
But can he play in the
look today?
But in the paint.
Today, a lot of coaches, we talked about the analytics yesterday, dominating these coaches' thinking. They act like you can't have two guys near the paint.